Will customers still be able to sign off on the work orders?
Yep. But yes, we'll still collect a signature, still collect payments like you've been able to. Have the ability to email out and with a couple of options, invoices, quotations, and identify any that have not been successfully emailed so that they can be printed at the office and sent out.
All those all those interfaces will stay the same. The only thing that will be different is the way that the invoice actually looks on the page, but the way that you mark a payment and all that, it'll just look a little bit easier to read. So you shouldn't have a problem with the way that works.
Okay.
We have images, which some of you guys have been using, some of you haven't. We have the new WorkPix system. We're expanding WorkPix so that those images, and this is probably, some of these will be on the order of a week or two out, but WorkPix images would be able to be attached to a work order or an invoice. The idea being they're either pretty pictures that go on the invoice or bad pictures that maybe go on the quote or the work order and say, this is a dangerous situation, here's a picture. The other thing that we're working pretty hard on, and there will be a link that will be under the Tools tab, is Facebook integration, so that you would be able to, in the near term, push to the Facebook company page content would go to, and the content is images and consumer feedback. So that's something that I think a number of people are pretty worked up and are pushing us kind of hard on. And the last item, and it's a big one, is this vPrice system. The vPrice is a database that we're getting from a company or a group of companies called the Key Wholesaler Group. And there are 33 independently owned wholesalers in the HVACR business, covering about 38 states and 345 branches. That's a little bit of a pitch for them, but essentially what they're doing is providing a essentially over-the-counter cost database. So it's not the sharpest prices in the drawer, but it's a pretty complete HVACR database of all the refrigeration, repair items, motors, gas valves, contactors, PXVs, all that kind of stuff. You will be able to then apply those pricing algorithms that we talked about to sort of broad categories of this database and identify what parts of the database you want to search. Because a lot of you won't. Most won't use the whole database.
What about QuickBooks going forward? That was part of the talking points, I thought.
Yeah, QuickBooks is we talked about this at the last webinar a bit, but certainly QuickBooks going forward, they have made, and we've been dealing with them quite a bit lately, they've made it infinitely clear that they don't want to support QuickBooks Desktop anymore. And I think they're going to have a heck of a time converting people that are really heavily into QuickBooks Desktop to move to QuickBooks Online. But that's their goal, and they're putting a lot of resources to it. The other thing which has come up a couple times in the last couple of days is QuickBooks Desktop for Mac is a dead duck. I mean, it's just toast. So any of you that might be using QuickBooks Desktop for Mac, I would strongly recommend that you move away from that quickly. But QuickBooks going forward, they've put a lot of resources into improving their online environment, and I think they told us, I don't know if this will happen or not, because a lot of things they say don't necessarily come true in the time frame they say they will. But they told us that by next year you won't be able to buy basic QuickBooks Desktop anymore. Credit cards, Michael had a question on credit cards. There is we don't actually process credit cards in Venture. However, you can process credit cards with a technology like QuickPay or Square, or there's a bunch of others, and record that credit card process in Venture. And that's what most of our customers do. The other question that we've had a couple questions on here during the meeting is a customer interface. We essentially don't currently have an interface where a customer can come in and log in to one of our websites. That's something we've talked a lot about, and I would love to hear opinions as to whether you guys think that would be beneficial. we have played with a lot of different sort of technology, like a customer being able to use a smartphone and scan a QR tag that you'd leave on the device they're servicing, or on a refrigerator magnet. It would bring them in, and they'd be able to see their history with you, both from a billing perspective and look at the model serial numbers and look at the literature for the products they have. That is something that is pretty straightforward for us to produce if you guys saw there was significant value in that. We actually did a prototype of that about 6 months ago, and I guess we haven't made that a high priority yet. But if you guys start to feel that you would benefit from your customers to be able to, in a more way, interact with you, that's doable. Right now, they interact with you when you have an invoice. We give them a specific path to view that invoice online. They give you feedback. We give them a specific path to do that. And they'll be in a specific path to accept a quote or proposal that you guys do, and to basically shortly schedule service through a service reminder. So those are the 4 ways that they can interact with you right now.